Hello, everybody. Here we are with another installment of your Living Things project. I have decided to cover bacteria and protists since they're not living or not animals and they don't quite fall under all the categories, but they make a nice opportunity for me to help you to fill out your spreadsheet so that you know what the format should look like to help you with your projects. So if this isn't enough information, the bacteria and the protist slideshow, feel free to email me with any further information. So here's your fact of the day so we can get started, and that is another highlight in females in science. Her name was Lupe Hernandez, who in 1966, she was the one who invented hand sanitizer. She realized that if alcohol could be converted into a gel form, people could use it to wash their hands without readily available water and soap. So thank you, Lupe, for your contribution, especially in these times. Remember, wash your hands. Also, be sure to drink lots of water. That sure helps too. Well, here we go with the Kingdom Protista. This is the second row on your Living Things project spreadsheet. So if you're doing it digitally or you have a physical copy, you can follow along and fill this out. You can obviously scroll back if you missed anything, but this will also be shared via Google Drive so that you can have access to it that way as well, especially if you don't want to watch this video at all and hear my voice. You can just skip right to the slideshow. But let's see if you like the information you're going to get here. Okay, first thing is, right, you need to define your group. In my case, it is a whole kingdom where I define the group itself. You have to have a classification slide. Well, my classification slide is pretty easy because it is just a kingdom. Some of you have a phyla, some of you have an order or a class, so make sure that you go all the way down to that level of classification. There are many subgroups in my kingdom, mostly classified by how they get their energy and the many subgroups within that. But they are so diverse, it's difficult to classify them really at all. They were originally just the miscellaneous kingdom that couldn't be classified. You also have to have a diet and habitat slide for your group. Mine can be very diverse because protists are either producers or consumers, where they consume other bacteria, other protists. They can be infectious. I'll give you some examples of that. They can also be producers. Algae and other photosynthetic producers just make their own food. As far as habitat, protists are found anywhere. We saw lots of them in the pond water earlier this year. They can even be found in your blood. You have to have a slide that talks about adaptations, right? An adaptation, we're talking about adaptation, the thing. So what is it that is special about your group that helps it to survive? Well, protists have many adaptations. Things like a chloroplast is an adaptation to help it make its own food. Having cilia around it to help it move around is an adaptation. Or a flagella. Or some of them have eye spots so they can find the sunlight so they can carry out photosynthesis. And so these are all examples of adaptations of protists, but your group will have its own specific ones. So now, time for you to get into the spreadsheet info. Most of the projects in the past like to do their project this way, where you just kick back and get all the basic info and the feel for things, and then it's time to jump into the spreadsheet. So here's your spreadsheet info. Protists are single-celled. They don't have any skeleton or backbone, so you can just put Na for those second two squares. As far as systems go, this will be very similar to the bacteria one right above it, where there is no brain or spinal cord. DNA is its nervous system. Its circulatory system is just how the materials naturally move around right through like diffusion. Molecules are just bumping into each other and moving around. So you can just write natural. For digestive systems, I'm hoping you're all right saying the word enzymes, right? The other one here would be the respiratory system is just diffusion through the cell membrane. The cell membrane also acts as its sensory organ, detecting certain chemicals, pressure, things like that. Other slideshow information is technically they have no blood. They would be considered mostly cold-blooded because their activity slows down pretty much to nothing the colder it gets. They just carry out mitosis, so you can just write mitosis where it says egg-laying live young. They don't have any internal fertilization, nourish with milk, or care for their young. So you can just put Na not applicable for those. Trying to think, oh yes, your last row there is for an example. Right, here's one that you want to worry about if you're ever out camping. This is why you don't just drink from a stream or a pond or anything, because this guy, a Giardia, is an intestinal protist, and you will need to stockpile a lot of toilet paper if you have this guy living in your digestive system for a little while. So that's a good example. But here are a few others. Euglena are a great example. Euglena. They're the ones that carry out photosynthesis as well as have a flagella. So they're animal and plant-like protists. Very interesting example of a protist being very diverse. So I think that covers all of your info. If you have any other questions about this, of course you can refer to the slideshow, rewatch this video, send me an email. I'm out there. I hope all is well. Stay busy, and I hope to see you soon. Bye, guys.